Hey, you guys, you're going to want to listen all the way through this episode, the first for our new year. And I thought we should probably make Kelly happy and talk about her favorite, Janet Jackson, and how 43 songs get crammed into 2.5 hours. We'll let you know how and where.
You're also going to find out what you can buy that will cost you only 38 cents per episode.
Ooh.
How can you do that in 2025? Enjoy the show, everyone.
Hi, you guys, and Happy New Year.
That's great.
It's me, Sharon. That's Kelly. Adam is out there in the world doing his thing, man, living his life and having some fun at the same time. He tells us he's coming back.
Yeah. He's in Paris right now.
Ooh.
Or I should say France, because I think he was in Paris and then is in the Les Régions,
Oh,
maybe in
oui.
Paris. Because I saw a social media post of him going he was funny. It was, I think it was from his hotel room, and it was a picture of like a mountain full of snow and all that. And it said
Oh.
something to the effect of like, all that's left is to actually ski. So I think he had to hit the slopes.
That's so cool. It's good for him. He's had a pretty big year, and we'll let him tell his stories when he comes back. But it's great that he's been able to take a vacation such as that. My goodness, to go to Europe and celebrate the end of one year, the beginning of another year, and a whole new perspective on 90's now. Still happening. My goodness, still happening indeed. Emphasis on that, eh, Kel? We've been doing this a long time.
Exactly. By the way, I realized that we actually got a question because this is our first show back since Christmas vacation.
Hmm.
And we actually got a question on the last episode from Kentucky Shane. And
One
so,
prince.
pardon?
One prince.
One Prince, yeah. So he had a question that he wanted me to ask you. So I'll see if I can find it while you're telling everyone what we're about to do.
Okay, well, what we're going to talk about today is a pretty cool way to get 43 songs live in just over 2 hours. We're also going to talk about the fact that the Golden Globes have been presented, speeches have been spoken, and we're going to talk about that. A whole new year for the challenge you didn't know you needed that comes with Kelly's trivia. And a smooth start to balance that out, looking back on your 90's rewind. That'll take us back to 1996.
Wow.
And 2025, which is rad to say, has started with a break from 2024 for one of the most talked about couples in the last couple of decades. So let's start there, eh, Cal?
Let's start there.
It's a little broken heart shaped dark cloud for Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, who finalized their divorce at for the first week of January. So
Yeah.
that's what 2025 looks like for them.
Yeah. I wanted to bring, like, I brought it to your attention because it was a late breaking story that we added to our recording schedule today. And it's only because they actually signed the documents back at the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, it's finalized. But I think it's important for us to maybe mention that I think Jennifer and Ben handled this well. Like,
Privately, you mean? Is that what you
yeah,
mean
like
by
it,
well?
because I mean, yeah, who knows what personally went on, obviously. But I think that this could have turned into a massive, like, social media storm,
Yeah.
and or just like, media storm in and of itself. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously there were a fair amount of stories on it, but I think they took the summer to handle what they needed to handle of them being apart, because they did say, I think that their separation date was your birthday, right? No, the day after, April 26th.
Yeah.
I think that's the date that's listed. And so, and obviously there was all kind of speculation all summer long until she confirmed. And I think the only boss move, well, I'm sure she does many, many boss moves, but the boss move Jennifer Lopez did was to file without a lawyer on this 2-year anniversary of their wedding.
Oh, wow.
So that I felt was a boss move. Like, that was like a here we go move. But apart from that, like, she's been unapologetic. He hasn't said anything. She's talked a little bit in interviews about it, but like never saying his name, and more just like, and not trashing their marriage by any sense. It was more like this was an unexpected ride, in the fact that it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But she's focusing on her and herself and her kids and what needs to be done, and so did not There was no negativity from what I saw, from what I read during that time when I think she did one or two interviews about it. And so, and he's not said anything trashy about her, which you wouldn't expect from him anyways. And so I just think them and their teams handled
Yeah,
it probably the best way because it was going to be explosive because it was such a huge fairy tale like when
right.
they got back together. And
Of
and she did
course.
make like that whole album and movie about him basically,
Yeah.
which only came out like at the beginning I think of the year that then saw the end of their marriage, you know what I mean? So it was going to be a difficult ride and I think they handled it the best way they could.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that neither of them has been particularly detailed in their comments about the other or about the situation. But when you go to a source like People Magazine, who goes to a source close to the couple,
Hmm.
that says that the fairy tale she was promised turned out to be a nightmare in the end.
Right.
I thought that was an interesting quote. And they went on to say that she's in a really good place and just wants to close the door on this crazy chapter.
I think that's accurate. Like that last because it
Yeah.
just sounds like it did. And obviously, as my mother always tells me, when it comes to relationships, it takes two to tango.
Yep.
So, but it's again, I think, because you and I and Adam have talked on this show about like how exciting it was for them to get back together initially. Like it almost made me
Yeah.
believe in fairy tales can have an ending. And I mean, Jennifer said it herself, right? Like in some social media posts, I think even in her doc, I think it might have been in her doc where I saw that. So I'm saying allegedly because I can't remember where I saw it, but she did say something to the effect of like, dreams can come true or fairy tales can come true. We did our separate things, had our kids, and now have come back together.
Yep.
And sadly it didn't work, but I don't blame them for trying, and at least they now know, and it's obviously not our business. So
Oh yeah, that's the interesting thing is that mostly everything is none of our business if we have nothing to do with it. But um, I think that what happens is that we end up rooting for the people that we are fans of, and
mhm.
for it's easy to root for a love story or a fairy tale or for something positive like that. And for two gigantic celebrities such as they are, to think that they joined forces one time was such a very not paparazzi-ish, but it made for great reads. It made all the headlines. It was very splashy. But then to find out that, oh my gosh, they revisited it and it's true and it's gonna work. And 2 years later it's not working. So
Yeah. I
it
will
is too bad.
I will say too about Jennifer, like why I wanted it to work for her is because as we know, she's such a boss in so many aspects of her career. Like we've talked before, I've told you that when I interviewed her choreographer, one of her choreographers, actually all three of them that I've spoken to, and obviously she has more than that, but they've all just said what a boss she is about making decisions
Hmm.
and like she trusts her gut and like all that stuff. So we know that she's so successful in her dance career, in her music career, in her film career, in her television career, because she's
Yeah.
done that too. But it seems like she was never able to figure it out with her significant others,
Yeah.
And so I always just wanted it to work for her at some point because you could tell like she's a romantic. Like she is.
Hmm.
She wants it to work and you want it to work for her.
And she probably wanted a break from being the boss. Not
Yeah.
that you want your partner to do everything,
Mm,
but to have a safe place to land outside of all the other places in your life where you are the boss.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, onward and upward for both of them.
Yeah. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. But you know what's kind of interesting too is like I don't think he could handle her life because she's very much about social media and being out in the public and doing all that stuff. Not all the
Hmm.
time, but it's a important part of her to share with her fans. And he is completely opposite, like from what I gather. Like when he's
Hmm.
doing a movie, you see him on screen, he directs, he's obviously extremely talented, but he doesn't seem to want to do any of that other stuff, which is fine. And I
Yeah.
think I think he had a problem. Well, I mean, we would see him at some of those award shows. He didn't look like he wanted to be there.
No. No.
So I
And I
think,
get you also have to be comfortable being the plus one to a person of her magnitude in
yes,
that arena.
yeah.
Well, on they go then,
Yeah, separately.
separately, to take on the world. Together, though, you guys, we're all going to face the challenge that is Kelly's trivia. Hold hands. It's going to be all right.
It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Yep. So let us see. We'll start. So news and politics or pop culture, Sharon, which one would you like to start with?
I'm going to start with news and politics.
Okie doke. Um, I don't think, oh wait, did we do that one? Okay. In 1991, who was appointed Federal Minister for Women and Youth in Germany?
1991,
Yep.
Germany. Steffi Graf.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Uh,
Let's get her on the line. That's a good idea.
um, former Chancellor Angela Merkel. Merkel.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed
So that's probably as when she was on her come up, right, in politics.
that. Angela's on the come up. How
Yeah.
often do you hear that?
And now it's funny because normally Adam would be here to do this research for us, but I think it's already been like what, 3 years at least since she retired or left politics, like left being chancellor.
Oh,
So
well, and we're talking more than uh 30 years ago, too. Like more than,
yeah, yeah.
I don't
She's
want to show off with my math, but that's 34 years ago.
very good, Sharon. She's another one that's a boss bee. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't mess with that girl. So I like Steffi Graf, but in actual fact, Angela Merkel. Pop culture.
Yes.
Magician, magician David Copperfield was engaged to which German supermodel and actor?
David Copperfield was married to, um, oh my gosh.
It says engaged. I don't know if
Oh,
did they.
engaged. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is engaged. Oh my gosh. What's her name? The cute one. Claudia Schiffer.
There you go.
Woohoo.
Good job, Sharon.
The cute one. Sorry, Claudia. You know what I meant.
Yeah,
She has a cute nose, cute little youthful face.
all the supermodels.
Yeah, I get them.
Yeah. My favorite one, Naomi Campbell. She's a boss girl also, that
Didn't
girl.
she throw a phone at somebody?
She did, but I think she's calmed down. Yeah.
Well, good. Because you
Yeah.
know what happens? Someone throws a phone at you, or you throw a phone at someone, they throw it back at you.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't want that.
Possibly not.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's this, Kel. Something I think you'll be able to weigh in on, no doubt about it. That Janet Jackson back in Vegas, baby.
Woohoo!
So let's go there. Like literally, let's go to
Yeah,
Vegas.
we should. The second leg of it is happening in February. I believe that the 5th to the 15th. There's
Ooh,
like 6 dates in there that she's doing.
are you looking at going?
It's funny, like I had random thoughts of it, especially because everybody that I know that has gone to the first 3 dates that she did, I think it was three, it was either 3 or 4 dates she did. They all said it was absolutely fantastic. She looks amazing. Like I
Yeah.
didn't think she had any weight to lose, but she lost more. Like and then somebody put up a picture of her from, now and then from 1998. So she would have been like 32 in 1998.
Wow. Yeah.
Now she's 58. You can't really tell the difference, like at all.
Incredible.
She looks amazing. And then there's video of her dancing up a storm. And yeah, from all accounts, it was just absolutely stunning. And she has costumes done by fashion designer, I think it's Tom York
Hmm.
or Tom Brown. Tom Brown. Um,
Tom York is
he
the
has an singer, right?
singer with Radiohead. Yeah.
That's exactly. So Tom Brown, and it's amazing. Like they look fantastic. They're so vivid, and the choreography is fantastic, and the band is on point. And so, if you are in the area or can get to Vegas, go there.
And imagine too, 43 songs, just over 2.5 hours, and a
Hmm.
set list that has something for everyone,
Yeah.
which I think, what does everyone mean? I think anybody going to see a Janet Jackson show at this point isn't going because they're like, let's try this artist. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think she's done a pretty good job of
Yeah.
scoping through her career and then dropping little surprises. Like, wasn't her performance of If somewhat a treat for the first show that she did?
I
Is that
think
what we read?
I think so, and I think also that there's several songs in there that are album cuts or cuts that she hasn't done on stage in a hot minute.
Yep.
So or ever. And so I think probably what you mean, by someone for, a show for everyone is like, I think the Fairweather fans that might just know her from well, obviously everybody knows Janet, but like from the pop radio hits.
Yep.
But then there's her album cuts that she's also doing. So, yeah, something for everyone. And I know you and I've talked about this before, and our good friend Tina Landon has concurred that Janet is very focused on making sure the audience is like the best time ever.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Vegas is a fun town. You should go.
Yeah, I've never been yet. So,
I've been twice.
did you get a cold there? Because my brother, when he went, he immediately got like a dry cold.
I can see that happening because the hotels are huge.
Yeah.
So you're in a really condensed, air conditioned place, and then you go out into the insane dry heat.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So it's and there's tons of people. So it's a hotbed of sin and germs. But you should really go.
We should just go. Yep, sounds amazing.
It's a really cool city. They know how to do it, that's for sure. Oh, show. Now, did you watch the Golden Globes?
I watched some of them until I fell asleep because it was past my bedtime.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of keeping it relatively on time. Like I think it went 13 minutes over.
Oh, was it?
Um,
Okay.
I thought that Nikki Glazer did a really good job hosting.
I thought so too from what I saw. I thought she kept it very punchy.
Yeah, and I think that that particular host job is thankless
Yes.
because everybody it's a you know, pretty packed room
Hmm.
and close quarters and you're kind of in the middle of it all. And, I think your job somewhat is to poke fun at people and have fun with them mostly. You're not looking to embarrass anybody, but you also know that people have had dinner and a couple of drinks maybe,
Hmm.
and they're kind of guarded. But I thought Nikki Glazer did a good job of, you know, keeping it moving,
Yeah.
doing her job well as a comedian.
Hmm.
And
Like
yeah, it was cool.
she had a few good zingers, and I
Yeah.
there was the one that it's not that I would ever laugh at her because I absolutely love Lady Gaga.
Yep.
Love her. By the way, she has a new number one. Her hit with Bruno Mars, "Die with a Smile," number one on the Billboard chart. So
I love that song.
I love it too. So, and she, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, go to her social media because she recorded a message thanking her fans for their love and support to get her to another. Because now she's had a number one in 3 different decades.
Oh, good for her.
So very happy for her. So, anyways, but Nikki made a joke, and I didn't catch it at first. It was something I read later. She said something to the effect of, "Oh, where's the table for Joker, Folie à deux?" And then she's like, "Oh yeah, right, they're not here because that movie did terrible." At like,
Well, because it's unsettling. I didn't see the movie. I didn't see the first Joker film. It's just not my thing.
Mhm,
But to me, the first one appeared to be, unsettling.
mhm.
And then even the trailer and any sort of promo for the second one seemed like weird,
Yeah,
you
and then
know?
there's the musical aspect to it also that threw people off. So
Yeah.
it really, but it's I don't know. I love Lady Gaga, love her, and
Yeah, she's great.
so I I feel bad that it didn't go for her, but I know that then we're just talking about her number one hit, so she has a lot more to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all
She
good.
she's got it going on. What I thought was interesting this time around, at least from what I like in an award show, I like seeing those like lifetime achievement awards.
Mm,
And for the Golden Globes, it's the Cecil B. DeMille Award, and this year it went to Viola Davis,
love.
and the Carol Burnett Award went to Ted Danson,
Hmm.
and both of those awards were given out 2 nights earlier.
Yeah, I think that's the first time they've done that.
I don't like it.
Yeah, because did they? Because I fell asleep before they ran because they were supposed to run a portion of it, did they?
I don't recall seeing a portion of
Okay,
it.
because
They brought them. I think they showed it happening, and it was like clip clip, but it was nothing like we would have got if it was a part of the show, which is basically a highlight reel of their careers,
yeah.
start to finish, and all the good and that. But there was none of that. It was just sort of like this happened.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure this is the first year they've done it because you always, I don't know if it's now because there's the two of them, because before it was just the Cecil B. DeMille Award, and I think it's only been a couple of years since the Carol Burnett one has been added. So I don't know, it's clearly as a time issue, but yeah, especially for Viola Davis, like she's an EGOT like
Yeah.
winner. So she should have been front and center. And she
Yeah,
was there because we saw her there at the awards, but she should have had her moment. She's such a beast, and she should have had her moment to say her piece, especially
I
because
agree.
other award winners and their speeches, like you need to calm down and not go on for 10 minutes. So,
Yes. So maybe we need to look at that list
yeah, because
and
I was
present those earlier.
but I have to give, I thought the, again, from the part that I was still awake. And by the way, I should mention, I really do like the Golden Globes. It just was way past my bedtime by the time it was
Hmm.
going. Um, I really liked Demi Moore's speech. I thought she did
Yeah, she was really good.
extremely,
Genuinely, genuinely happy, and genuinely sort of surprised that she won.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you could tell by what she said about you know, needing a reminder of being deserving of something like this when you spend years buying the I guess whatever the opposite of hype is, of people
yeah,
telling you you're not good enough
yeah,
because it doesn't serve, their agenda. It takes a toll on people,
yeah,
truly,
yeah,
especially in an artistic based business such as theirs.
yeah, exactly.
So, congratulations to all the winners and to all the people who make great speeches and to the awards that we didn't get to see, for enriching our lives, Kel. Like, honestly, Hollywood Foreign Press clearly knows how to throw a good party too because
Yeah.
everybody seemed to be happy.
I like the Globes better than the Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much pressure on the Oscars to be whatever, and I usually find it dry slash leaning on boring. It's been better in certain years. They seem to nail it some years better than others.
Yeah.
But other times I'm like, oh my, I think maybe it's because they're more boozy at the Globes. Like
Yeah.
you just never know what's going to happen, and it's always a bit
It's a
more fun.
party.
Yeah, it's a party. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I find that when it comes to the awards lately, like and the Golden Globes celebrate everything: television, streaming,
Yeah.
uh, theatrical releases, things like that. Um, and a lot of which I've not seen.
Yeah.
So I end up like rooting for the ones that I have seen, like, oh, I can't believe they didn't win. Like it's just because it's the only one I watched, you know?
Yeah, I felt that way about the category that had Gary Oldman in it for
Slow horses.
because he's so amazing in that show. It's ridiculous. And I was like, come on, Gary. But yeah, it
That's
was,
on my list of things to watch, so I will look forward to
yeah. And
that.
I think it was the guy from Shogun that won, which I'm sure is amazing. I hadn't watched it. And Gary Oldman, like, I can't tell you how good he is in that role. So definitely watch that. And also, you and I have talked about this, but I'll quickly mention Black Doves on Netflix
Yes.
with Keira Knightley, Sarah Lancashire. And by the way, if you're like, who's Sarah Lancashire? Because I know we have a lot of Canadians and Americans listening and watching our show. She's basically, and I said this to you the other day, Sharon, she is like the British version of Mariska Hargitay,
Hmm.
SVU. So she's another boss bee. She's awesome.
You know what? I'm thinking of outfits and stuff like that, and how award shows are, a big um, vehicle for sponsorships and for designers and things like that. And I think um, Jeremy Strong's uh, the guy from Succession, he was nominated for something against Kieran Culkin,
Yeah.
both for two different shows, even though they were brothers in Succession. I didn't understand the outfit choice,
Yeah, me neither.
but to each his own. Except that we should paint the picture for those who haven't seen it. It was a mint green velvet suit with a cream colored turtleneck
Yeah.
and a matching Gilligan hat.
Yeah, the bucket hat. Yeah.
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 So I thought the only person to that point that would have pulled that outfit off was LL Cool J
Right.
at some point back in the day. But like, I'm not sure what Jeremy Strong was going for exactly, but
Yeah. It's
clearly
funny.
he achieved it.
It's funny you brought that up because I'm all about being a little bit left of center so you stand out in a way if
Yeah.
you pull it off. And so had he just had the velour green, like I sans it was the bucket hat that tipped it for me. And I'm
Yeah.
all about hats. As you know, I love hats.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it really looked like he had got confused on what day it was and he meant to go to the beach. Like that's
Yeah. It was an interesting color choice for sure.
yeah.
Outfit choice entirely, really. But
Yeah.
you know what? And he doesn't look happy.
He
Like if
didn't
you're
look
going to pick
happy.
something so unique, you'd
Yeah.
think it's going to be the thing that's going to make you smile, and which he didn't seem to be doing much of. So
No, he didn't look happy to be there. So I think he would have needed to smile with the green velour bucket hat. So yeah.
I think by virtue of the fact that it's velour that you should be smiling. That's one nice fabric.
Yeah, exactly. And apparently velour, by the way, is supposed to be one of the hot it things for 2025, if my sources are correct. So get ready for velour.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get some now.
Do you even
Uh,
get Adidas tracksuits like with in that velour?
yes,
That'd be nice.
I would constantly be touching my legs and arms like it was if it was a blanket or something, like my blankie from childhood. That's nice. You
Yeah.
know, what is she doing? It's hard to say, but she looks like she's really enjoying her outfit. How about we do some time travel, Kel, and go back to 1996?
Let's do it.
It's your 90s rewind where I figure for the first uh go at it for 2025, we'll take a couple of handfuls of songs from around this time in 1996, where One Sweet Day really checks a few boxes because not only Mariah Carey, but
Yeah.
all four of the Boys to Men on that incredible song. We think of the late greats like Whitney Houston and how Exhale, Shoop Shoop, right behind Mariah. Also, Mariah's Fantasy was on the charts around this time too. Goo Goo Dolls and Name,
Yep.
that would have been a great
Yep.
catapult for them. Everything But the Girl and
Yep.
Missing.
Oh, that's such a jam.
Such a jam, such a 90s earworm.
Hmm.
You don't even have to hear the song in full and think of the line, and I miss you.
Yeah.
And then good luck.
Yeah.
Sorry I did it, but misery loves company. That's misery in the best possible way. Joan Osborne was really tackling bigger subjects when she was singing about One of Us,
Hmm.
as in, what if God was one of us? Janet herself
Oh, yeah.
was on the runaway on the charts around this time. And I figured to wrap it all up, we got new music from a band that had by that point been done for over 20 years, over 25 years, who this many years later, 29 years later, is still making news because of their music. And it was the Beatles
Yay.
and the song Free as a Bird.
Very good.
That's 1996. That's your 90s rewind, y'all.
Good job, Sharon, for the first one of 2025.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much. Thank you.
Did you want do you want to tackle Shane's question?
Yes, I do.
All right. So I'll tell our listeners, both visual and audio, that we did not read this question in advance. I read this 2 weeks ago, but forgot his exact question until now. So you and I are
Great.
both gonna have to come up with good answers. Um, Shane goes, "What is the biggest earworm song
Good
from our
timing.
decade?" He says that his is "I'm Too Sexy" from Right Said Fred.
Oh, a song that you can't get out of your head, right?
Yeah, from the 90s.
Um,
Yep.
hmm.
Yep. Yep.
That's a good one. Well, I think I'd buy myself a few moments by having said that Everything But the Girl's Missing is an earworm because
Hmm.
legit, it's been in my head for 5 hours.
Yep.
Just loopy. Not I'm loopy. It's like on a
Yep.
loopy.
Yep.
And I miss you.
I will say, but it's like an earworm in the best way possible because like to this day, to this moment, like within the last hour, I was working out before we started recording, um, Gypsy Woman by
Oh
Chris
yes.
Waters. Those jazz chord
La
progressions.
da dee da 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 la doo. Yeah.
And like speaking of how, so that song came out in 91, I believe it was. And
Mm-hmm.
Katy Perry, who released her album like a few months ago, so in 2024, she sampled Gypsy Woman on one of her tracks.
Right.
So the fact that it's the song, by the way, with Doechii. I can't remember the name of the title. It's with Doechii on her album. So if you want to check it out, but yeah, like that's over 30 years later, it's still being sampled by A-list pop stars.
Yeah. That's a good call. I like that one.
Yeah.
Uh, I would I would even throw Semi-Charmed Life on this list.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
I would also
Yeah.
add the U2 with the Kiss Me, Kill Me, Thrill Me, whatever from
Oh,
Batman.
yeah. That's a good one.
Mm, yeah.
Uh, Yeah, there's certainly a few, and
There's,
that's I think what makes the decade one of our favorites. Certainly the favorite for this podcast.
yeah. There's probably a lot of hip hop songs too, like OPP.
Totally that one.
Yeah, that's and like oh, and Poison from BBD.
Never trust a big butt and a smile. Come on.
Oh, and what's the one? What's the one that she got baby got back?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
mix a lot.
god.
Yeah. There's a lot, Shane.
Um,
So thank you.
yeah.
And so just to pat us, I know I don't normally do this, but I think it's important to celebrate a win. So this again from Shane said, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Bluegrass State. Looking forward to my favorite show in 2025. And then he put 4 or 5 exclamation marks. I think it was 5. So thanks, Shane.
Thank you, Shane. You know what? I'm also going to throw Tupac's California Love on it.
Oh, that's solid.
Yeah.
Also, before we wrap up, my better half, Elaine, who I often talk about here on the show,
Yep.
wanted to pass this along. Sharon, myself, and Elaine had a FaceTime chat last night, which was very fun.
Hmm.
We were discussing how my better half is very much enamored with Dallas, the show with J.R. Ewing and the rest of the Ewing family. And
And how
so,
it hasn't aged that well.
yeah, yeah. And she was legitimately brokenhearted when Larry Hagman passed away. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's how much she loved him. Um, so she wanted to let everyone know that if they're on the lookout for something to watch, she has revisited all the Dallas love by being able to watch. You can buy it from Apple TV, like all the seasons, and I think it's 13 seasons,
Yeah.
including the one that was because I didn't know this. You knew this, Sharon, but I didn't. That the first season was actually a mini series before they turned it into an actual show. I didn't know that.
That's how they tested it out.
I guess so, yeah, clearly. So she has all of this for one purchase of $137 Canadian. So our American friends will get this for cheaper.
Yeah.
And she broke it down. She's like, I want to break it down for your people. So she's like, 357 episodes divided by 137 equals 38 cents per episode. And then she says, je regrette rien, which means I nothing. So
You cannot argue that.
no, 38
That's
cents an episode. That's
you're not
pretty
going to be
good.
able to watch an episode of anything for 38 cents when
Yeah,
they charge you,
exactly.
right?
So if you're looking for something to revisit your youth, because it's funny, I used to watch this show when I was like 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. Maybe even a little bit older, but I didn't realize it started the year after I was born. Like it started in 78.
Yeah.
So I missed the first few seasons there.
That's okay. Now
Yeah.
you have them
Yeah,
at your
my beck and
disposal.
call. Yeah.
Do you think she'd make a VHS copy of it for me?
Yeah. I can ask her, Sharon, but she's very thrilled that it's digitized. So,
Well,
yeah.
that's very exciting. I'm happy for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Hey,
Yes.
well, thanks everybody for your questions and starting our new year off just fantastically. We are happy that you spent some time with us as usual. For finding us wherever it is that you do, we appreciate that. Kel,
Yes.
we're not going to be allowed to say this next week because like this is the last week we can say Happy New
Right.
Year.
Right.
So Happy New Year. And thank you everybody for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.